Welcome to the January Health Cafe on top ways to improve your health in 2023. My name is Jonah. I'm a family nurse and kinesiologist at the Red Deer Primary Care Network. And I'm here with Lindsay. She's a recreational therapist and kinesiologist, also from the Red Deer Primary Care Network. Before we get started, I would like to do the line acknowledgement. The Red Deer Primary Care Network acknowledges that we learn and work on Treaty 7, Treaty 6, and Métis ancestral land, the gathering place of many Indigenous peoples. This is where we'll strive to honor and transform our relationship with one another. So today, we want to share a few tips that will help you this new year to move forward with healthy living and, most importantly, maintaining that healthy lifestyle. We can acknowledge that making long-term change is not an easy task. Many people create New Year's resolution every year to make changes in their health, whether by dieting or exercising, but slowly but surely slip back to the old habits within a few weeks or even months. This can happen for a number of reasons. First one is that the goals may be unclear and unrealistic. Second one may be due to accountability. They don't have any accountability to themselves or others. And the third one is that maybe they created a goal not important enough that other competing priorities seem to take over. So the skills that we'll be sharing today are designed to set you up for long-term success. You may not incorporate every single one of them, but that's okay. What we want you to choose is a few that will stand out to you and make an effort to put them in your life on a daily basis. When it comes to change itself, the human brain is designed to take the path of least resistance, which means the easiest possible route. However, we also know that our daily choices have the greatest impact on our health and longevity. That means we have the ability to create a healthier version of ourselves. Dr. Walter Willett said 75% of how long we live and how well we feel is determined by our daily lifestyle decision. So many times this daily decision becomes automatic. So for example, snacking in front of TV or even taking the elevator inside the stairs. So by being mindful of the choices you make every day is the first step to changing them. This means becoming aware of what's happening in the present moment. So what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're doing. The foundation of healthy living revolves around planning. This means planning your meals, planning to stretch in the morning, planning to walk in the afternoon, but it also includes planning to put yourself first. You may have heard the saying, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So this means that we must take care of ourselves in order to give to others. Many of us, unfortunately, are conditioned to look after others, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but many times we will end up putting others' need before our own, which is the unfortunate part. The truth is, we continue to prioritize others' need before our own, and we will not be well enough to do those things that we need and want to do. And this includes helping others. So by you being here today, listening to this health cafe, that shows us that you're interested in investing the time in yourself to look after your health. So you deserve a big pat on the back for that. So over the next few minutes, we'll be sharing some ideas that will help put yourself first and improve your health in 2023. We'll be talking about nutrition, we'll be exercise, positive mindset, as well as sleep. So we'll start with the basics. Many people start, their New Year's resolution with the nutrition portion, right? So basically eating well. So what we want and encourage people to do when it comes to eating is follow the New Canada Food Guide, which recommends choosing to eat more plant-based food. So choosing primarily plant-based food, including our protein sources, right? So choosing vegetables, fruits, legumes, lentils, nuts, seeds, and whole grains will create a long-lasting fullness, and it has loads of nutrition and health benefits that will help you in the long run. If you are not a plant eater or a plant-based food eater, what we recommend is starting small, even aiming one meatless meals per week, or just adding more vegetables to your plate at lunch or supper time. There's a couple of good websites when it comes to resources to help you eat more plant-based food. One of them is pulse.org. If you're not sure on how to cook beans, lentils, legumes, this is a good website for that. They do have a lot of different recipes for meatless meals as well. And also, there's another website called halfyourplate.ca. They again have recipes and ideas, and they give you some tips on proper storage of fruits and vegetables and how we could stretch our budget so that we're able to include these healthy food in our daily eating. The second part of eating well is making sure that we are mindful about our satiety. So many of us often eat until we're overly full and do not feel good afterwards, whether it's physically or emotionally, right? There's a small island in Japan called Okinawa, and they have a little saying that goes like this. So they before each meal they would say harahachibu, which is a Japanese saying that translates roughly to plan plan before you start eating to stop when you're 80% full. It generally takes around 20 minutes for your stomach to tell your brain that's actually getting full. So by stopping around 80% full, if you wait another few minutes, you may get that signal to your brain to stop eating, right? So this increases the likelihood that you will stop eating before you're overly full or overly stuffed, right? Some will choose to wear a symbolic blue wristband, a simple reminder to slow down at meal times and be mindful. So again, those two things are something that keeps us living in a present moment, especially when it comes to our eating. And the last thing we can do to eat well is basically writing it down. One thing that we talked about earlier is accountability, right? So by writing it down, you will hold yourself accountable. There's a medical director in Toronto. His name is Dr. Yoni Freedhoff. He said there's no single behavior that has more value to successful weight management than keeping a careful food diary. So there are many ways to track your food intake. There's a lot of apps, and also the good old pen and paper route is sufficient. One thing that we want to caution you about, writing a food journal is that making sure that you do not judge or criticize your choices and only to learn from them, right? So journaling may not be for you if you have a history of eating disorder or disordered eating, or it just makes you feel worse after you've written them down than you normally would have felt, right? So if you have any questions about that, give us a call and we could definitely help you out, and we'll give you our contact information later at the end. So that's one way that we could change our life in this new year. Another way is basically just moving more. Exercising and moving more, they go hand in hand, right? Research has linked sitting for too long with a number of health conditions. So that's sedentary behavior. So by simply standing or moving more often throughout the day can improve your health outcomes significantly. One thing what we always talk about in My Way to Health is the 5-60 rule. So this basically means that you stand for 5 minutes for every hour that you sit down. Some other examples including standing up during commercials or while talking on the phone or even while waiting before an appointment. The basic premise of this is making sure that we break down the sedentary behavior at least every hour. The second thing we have to remember when it comes to activities and exercise is we have to find activities that we actually enjoy. We're more likely to continue with activities that we truly enjoy. So maybe it's resuming activities you once enjoyed or trying something new are ways to do this. Here at the PCN, we do have what's called the physical activity prescription. That'll give you an opportunity to try many local activities for free for you and a friend. And if you find an activity that you enjoy, then you can continue on with that. Okay. And the final thing we want to talk about when it comes to exercise or activity is start small. Sometimes we get carried away, especially in the beginning. We're very motivated and we may overdo it a little bit, right? And really pay for it the couple of days afterwards. Or sometimes the hardest part of any activity is getting started, a good rule of thumb when it comes to that is use the 5-minute rule, right? So the 5-minute rule means that you convince yourself to just do whatever activity you have planned just for 5 minutes. So if after 5 minutes you still don't want to do it, then you know what? Take a break and just put it aside and rebook it for another day. It's so much easier to do something for 5 minutes than the time you had initially planned. Usually once the 5 minutes up, you feel like continuing on. It's not as, or you may not be as tired as you may think you were, right? So just give it a shot. And for those of you that do not like exercising in a gym or in a public setting, there's a few different ways to kind of go around about that. The Red Deer Primary Care Network website have a video, and it's based on body weight exercises and stretching. If you want to access that, we'll give you the link at the end. Also, there's another website called fitnessblender.com. It's a free website where you could kind of personalize your exercise video somewhat, and it's a good way to start. And all you have to do is visit the website fitnessblender.com. Now I'm gonna pass it on to Lindsay to talk about sleep, as well as mindset.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about sleep here because it is a very key component to improving your health. We know that without proper sleep, it makes it very difficult to incorporate all these other changes, such as eating healthy and moving our body. So I'm just going to go through a few tips that we'd like to share today. The first one you can see is just scheduling it in. That includes your bedtime and wake up time. So keeping a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends, which I know can be challenging for some people. Set a wake up goal and get out of bed within 30 minutes of that time every day. If you need to set an alarm to help you to establish this routine, then you can do that as well. This will help to train your sleep system, and you'll find it easier to fall asleep at night and experience a refreshing sleep. You can also learn more about this at our 5-week sleep program that we have here at the Red Deer Primary Care Network. And there's also a free app that's available to anybody with an Android or an Apple phone. It's called Insomnia Coach. So you can download it, and it has lots of really good tips, information, and skills to help you experience better sleep. We also want you to know what's normal when it comes to sleep. Many people have had the belief that we all need 8 hours of sleep, and we know now that that's simply just not true. So 7 hours is the adult average, and this is decreased to 6.5 hours after you turn 70 years old. We also know that it's very normal to have 1 to 2 nights a week of poorer sleep, and also to wake up around 3 to 4 times a night. These are all very normal things. But really the best indicator of your sleep quality is how you're functioning the next day. If you find that you're still tired or unable to function normally, then you would benefit from working on your sleep. This is really regardless of how much sleep you're already getting, as everyone has different sleep needs. The other thing that you can do, and we know through research that this really helps, is reframing your thoughts. So many people have anxious thoughts about how they will sleep that night, especially if they've been having trouble falling asleep for a very long time. These thoughts, some of them can sound like, if I don't get 8 hours tonight, then I won't be able to function tomorrow. Or I better get to bed now so that I can get a head start on my sleep. Maybe you've caught yourself having some of these thoughts before. We know that these thoughts can actually hinder your sleep. So one thing you can work on is trying to reframe them to have a little bit more of a compassionate tone. So I'll give you an example of a reframing. If I don't feel totally rested tomorrow, I will still be okay. Or it's possible that I will fall asleep easily tonight. One thing you can do is just start writing down your thoughts that you have to become more aware of them and then reframing them. That can really help you get started. The next thing that you can work on this new year to improve your health is connection. So spending time with people. We know that social connection is linked to many health benefits, including increased immunity, increased happiness, and overall decreased mortality. We encourage you to pencil in times during the week to be around people, either friends or family, or maybe even strangers. If you have a hard time with this or you don't have many social connections, some ideas include attending a community program, community events, or possibly getting involved in volunteering. Those are all great ways to get to know people. The other thing that you can do if you're focused on improving your health is to find an accountability partner. So we know through the research that one of the biggest indicators of success is having support. We also see that with our patients here at the Primary Care Network, many people report that if they have an accountability partner, then they do really good on their goals. This provides an element of accountability because the truth is we are, for the most part, more likely to commit to someone else than we are to ourselves. If you have a plan to go walking with somebody, you might be more likely to commit to that than if you just had a plan to go walking by yourself. It's a lot easier to cancel on our own plans if we don't have anybody to hold us accountable. A way to find people like this would be in like-minded programs. The Primary Care Network workshops are a great place to find like-minded people who are interested in improving their health. Exercise facilities and clubs could be another way to do that as well. And the last thing that you can think about when you are wanting to improve your health this new year is your mindset. So one of the topics that we discuss a lot here at the Primary Care Network is the 80-20 rule. And this really means that you don't have to be perfect to make progress on your health. We want you to aim to live healthy 80% of the time and allow yourself to enjoy your favorite treats 20% of the time. This helps you steer away from that all or nothing thinking that many of us know all too well. Remember, for anything to be sustainable in the long term, it has to be enjoyable. Willpower does have its limits. If you struggle with perfectionism, as many people do, it might be helpful for you to even discuss this with a counselor. We have at the Red Deer Primary Care Network counselors that you can see for up to 6 sessions at no cost. We also encourage you to know your why. We know that we are much more likely to continue with a new habit if we know it's going to lead us somewhere that we really want to be. Whether it's to play with your grandchildren or continue to do an activity that you really enjoy, such as gardening or golfing, having an emotional reason to make changes is what will keep you motivated. If you want to find your why, we suggest journaling about it, journaling about why it's important to you to be healthy. We encourage you to dig deeper than the surface answers by asking yourself why to each answer you write down and repeat that 5 times. The last thing that we want you to remember, and this is a really important piece, is that small steps lead to big changes. As mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, all too often we make many big changes all at once. Many times this is because we want to see immediate results. So the bigger the change, the faster the results. We know that the faster people make changes, the more likely they are actually to go back to their old habits. They don't stick as well. So start by choosing a goal that is so small, you're 100% sure you'll be able to meet it. When we meet our goals, we increase our confidence and that we can achieve another goal. It feels good to meet those goals, and therefore we want to continue forward. So the cycle will continue with small, achievable goals, and that'll lead you to a healthier version of yourself. So those are the 5 ways to help you be healthier this year. We invite you to take some time and plan which ones you would like to implement. Take a moment right now and write down 3 tips that you will try. Choose ones that are of most interest to you, and then write down specifically how and when you're going to put those into practice. This will really help you get started. And then, of course, if you feel like you want some more support to get you going with healthy habits this new year, then we are happy to help you. You can contact us at the Red Deer Primary Care Network. You can see our phone number on the screen there and our address. And you are able to access by referring yourself. For most of our programs, you don't need a doctor's referral. But if you are in your doctor's office, you can ask them to refer you to our programs as well, and they can help get you started. Well, hopefully you found our presentation helpful today, and we hope that you have a great, healthy, happy new year.